Hello, YouTube. I'm sure by now, unless you've been under a rock or something, you're probably aware of the massive truckers' protest or strike. I guess they're calling it the freedom protest or whatever in Canada. And apparently, what happened, from the gist of it, from what I understand, is that the truckers are protesting because they don't want to get vaccinated. Well, it's not so much because they don't want to get vaccinated, it's because of mandatory vaccination. Canada instituted a rule, a policy saying that truckers, I guess, had to be vaccinated to cross the border between the United States and Canada or whatever. And so that created a huge uproar. Truckers who don't believe that it should be mandated. So they started this big protest. I guess it didn't start real big, but it was fairly big when it started. But it's grown even bigger to the point now where I think it's about to trickle down to the United States. So if you've been watching the news or just scan YouTube, you're going to see that it's not only in Canada, it's about to hit the United States possibly as early as this weekend. And the reason I'm posting this is to let you know that if you need anything, you might want to grab it. And you might want to park somewhere if you're a van dweller where you're not going to be out on the interstate because it might be blocked. So I'm not sure that, the Department of Homeland Security is saying that they're preparing. There's supposed to be a truck convoy, I guess, that's going to be driving from California, I think, all the way up to, I think it's up to New York? No, up to Washington, up to the government to protest mandatory vaccination. And I have my own thoughts about it, but I was wondering what you guys think about it. Make sure you put it in the comments, and if you're watching this video later, let me know. I want to see if I'm in the majority or the minority. I suspect I'm probably on YouTube in the minority. It seems like YouTube is like fringe, has a lot of people who are on the fringe. I think that if you're a truck driver, a regulated truck driver, because you have rules you have to follow, like weight limits on your truck and whatnot for safety, requirements that your truck be inspected, and you got to pull over for weight checks and things like that, that it only makes logical sense that if you have a worldwide pandemic that is being spread by people through contact, you should be vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you should quit that job. That's how I feel about the hospital workers. There are doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals who refuse to get vaccinated. They think that they shouldn't be vaccinated even though they're dealing with people who may be getting sick from them for them not being vaccinated. Well, their argument is this, that even if you're vaccinated, you could still get the virus and you can still continue to spread it. So it should be mandatory that you get vaccinated. The concern, I hope YouTube doesn't block this video again. They keep blocking my videos when I try to talk about serious topics. So if you're live, catch it while you can, because there's a chance YouTube's going to delete this video again. They've deleted all my videos that are controversial, especially when I talk about stuff that I think is pertinent to the situation in the world right now. But my feeling is this. If you're in a healthcare environment, or you work where other people, you come into contact with people, and you're a potential carrier, and they have a vaccination requirement, you should follow it, and you should get vaccinated. And if it's mandatory, it's mandatory. If you don't like it, you should quit. Okay? But their argument is that if you get infected, you can get infected whether or not you're vaccinated. Okay? That's what their argument is. And it's a valid argument. But here's the scientific facts from what I can tell based on what I'm seeing, and I have to trust what I'm seeing, you know, from the media and from the government or whatever, because if you don't trust them, who are you going to trust? You know, you're going to trust the fringe people on the internet? You're going to trust yourself? Who are you going to trust? You know, people say, well, I don't trust the government or whatever. Then you know, you got to go live somewhere all by yourself. You can't even live in any country, because if you don't follow the rules or their laws, they arrest you or they deport you or whatever. They get rid of you. You got to follow the rules. You got to have a driver's license to drive in the United States. You got to have insurance. You know, I mean, you could do it without it, but you're breaking the law, and if you get caught, well, there's consequences. So getting fired or whatever because you won't follow the rule is a consequence. But the reason for the vaccination requirement, as I understand it, is that the data shows that people who are vaccinated, if they do catch the virus, it tends to be less severe, less deadly, even though some people do still die even after being vaccinated. But the numbers drop dramatically for the people who are, you know, seriously ill or dead from getting the vaccination. So the other issue with people not getting vaccinated and the virus continuing to be allowed to spread untethered, okay, is that you get all these mutations, because every time the virus goes into a new host, there's a possibility of a mutation. That's how come the shit hasn't gone away. You know, the virus itself lives like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. That's all. It has a lifespan of 2 or 3 weeks. That means if the whole world would just work together, this whole thing could be eliminated in 1 month. 1 month. We're on year 3. I can't even process this situation. The thing lives 2 or 3 weeks. It dies if you stop it from spreading. Seal all borders. Stop movement. Stop the stock market. Stop all of this stuff for 1 month. Let it die. And some people say, you know, it's political and all that other stuff, and I won't get into it. But I will say that if there's a mandate, you need to follow it. The truckers, I can understand where they're coming from. But really, if you're doing delivery and you're crossing international borders, you know, or even crossing states and stuff, it's a requirement for the job. Just as having a driver's license or commercial driver's license is a requirement now. You know, if you don't want to do it, quit. Now, if enough truckers quit, they might consider, you know. The reason I'm kind of against the strike isn't so much that they're protesting, it's how they're doing it. They're blocking roadways, like highways and stuff that people need. Can you imagine if you're in an accident and whatever, and you need an ambulance and you need to get to the hospital, and the truckers have blocked the road and you can't get through, or your loved one, something happens and they can't go through? I wonder what that music was. So anyhow, I'm getting a call. I gotta hang up. I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta take this call. All right.